I was very shy at first with AI. Like a lot of people still think, I thought it was just about going in and typing things and creating content. And well, thanks to you, I have to say, I discovered that there was much more to it. And now I basically, anytime I want to do anything, I think, could I do this with Chat GPT? And most of the time, the answer is yes, you can. And it's been mind blowing.
Hello, welcome to the second episode of How I Use AI by AI for Non-Techies. I am Heather, I'm founder here at AI for Non-Techies, and I'm absolutely delighted to have a really lovely guest today. And somebody I've noticed, I was just saying I'd be so happy to have this conversation even outside of the podcast. I'm so interested to find out more about how Maria is using AI. So Maria Kelly, our guest today, is an exec leader who's escaped the corporate world, just like me, to start her business in 2021. She now coaches executives, mentors, mid-level professionals, all looking to boost their careers, and trains leadership teams into how to work more effectively together. She's Swiss-Irish and multilingual, and Maria has lived all over the world, in Geneva, New York, all these places I'd love to live in, London, and now best city in the world, Barcelona. She loves multicultural environments and working with international businesses. When she's not helping her clients, she volunteers as a mentor, attends a Toastmasters reunion, or goes hiking with her husband and their Jacoby cookie. So first of all, what is a Jacoby, Maria?
Jacoby. So I discovered it was called a Jacoby. It's a mix between a Jack Russell and a Beagle.
I was with the bee.
I was calling it a Jeagle, and then I discovered one day that it actually did have a name, and it's called a Jacoby.
Jacoby. Okay, good to know. I was wondering what the bee. I thought it's got to be Jack Russell in there somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really, really happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I would love to know more about your story. So can you tell us about your transition from the corporate world into starting your own business and the role? It's a big question, how AI has supported this journey.
Yeah. So I went from, managing, I had a global role. I worked for Sotheby's, the auction house. And just before I left, I was managing a global division, which was the luxury division. So it was over 100 people all over the world. And obviously I wasn't doing that alone. I had teams working for me and helping me. And when I decided to start my own business, I realized, all these people that were helping me weren't there anymore. And I had to do all my own marketing, my finance, I had business analysts, I had business directors, I had strategists, I had loads of people working for me. I had an assistant, and suddenly I had to schedule my own appointments. I had to do all my own marketing, and I had learned how to do all these things. And it was a lot of fun, but I have to say, at first I was like a bit overwhelmed and trying to learn all these things. I spent a lot of time. And then I discovered all these different AI tools, and suddenly my life changed, I have to say.
Could you tell me, can you remember what your first tool that you found was?
It was probably Calendly.
Yeah.
I think it was Calendly. And the time saver that is, I mean, how many backs and forths with people you are, to make an appointment, to cancel, to change, to find the right time. That was a game changer, just through the actual fact that it's automating it all. You can change your calendar. You can attach. I mean, I find it's great even because it looks really professional. Also, when someone books an appointment, that they can draw it. They can go in and choose their time. But then also, for me, I've set up a fact that they receive an email afterwards. That's a welcome email that has a little video, saying hi, looking forward to speaking with you. And I've attached some of my testimonials. So it's a great way of making, something as casual as booking an appointment into something that looks really professional and that can already start selling in a way before you even have spoken to the person. So that was probably the first one I found, and I've been using it since.
It's those seemingly small tools, aren't they? That those things that actually take away the need to do those repetitive things every day. Like you say, that all those clicks, all that back and forth, which it doesn't take much kind of brain space, but it takes so much time, doesn't it? I think AI is excellent at those things. But for me, it was a note taker, those AI note takers. I think that's probably, and still is the one that gives me the best ROI out of all of the tools. Okay, brilliant.
I agree. I agree with you. The note taker is the second one. I discovered that much later, unfortunately, but that also was a game changer because I used to type up all my notes and send them to my client. I mean, so the time, again, yeah, as you say, AI for me, it's a time saver. It's really, it's giving me back more time. It's making me more efficient and makes me look more professional also because I'm able to turn around things much quicker. And lots of people are not using it, so it makes me stand out, you know?
Yeah, that's it. And yeah, exactly that. I find exactly the same thing. So it's not just about speeding things up, it's about giving a better service and making, exactly as you say, it makes you seem just more future facing, more efficient. And you know, I love, but you know, if a client says, "Oh, what do we talk about?" I can send you the entire transcript or an analysis of it, or a video clip, or anything you like. You know, it's there's whole new things we could do now that we couldn't do before, which is really exciting. You mentioned we do a little form beforehand, but you mentioned using AI as a personal assistant. Could you walk us through, apart from Calendly, how AI helps you as an assistant, please? That'd be great.
Oh, God. So I started very shy. I was very shy at first with AI because I think like a lot of people still think, I thought it was just about going in and typing things and creating content. And well, thanks to you, I have to say, I discovered that there was much more to it. And now I basically, anytime I want to do anything, I think, could I do this with Chat GPT? And most of the time, the answer is yes, you can. And it's been mind blowing. And it's just, yeah, again, it's about time saving. If I need to write an email, any kind of email, I can just go in and say, please write me, you know, I have prompts. So now I spend a lot of time creating the prompts. So now I have them and I'll be like, write me an email about this subject. And I'll have an email and then I just need to go in and twiggle it, you know, and sometimes not even. Sometimes it's just so perfect. I'm like, poof, I send it out. So it's the writing of the emails, the writing of my newsletter. I create like the foundation, the ideation, like what subjects could I talk about? I've downloaded, you know, all my client pain points or challenges, and now it gives me ideas of what I could talk about. But then it also produces, again, I have a prompt where it produces the foundation of my newsletter. And then, of course, I go in and write and put my personal stuff and change it. I use it and then I've built on that. I have a prompt that then does a LinkedIn post from my newsletter, and that creates the clickbait. A clickbait, you know, post image and I create in Canvas too. So I have a bunch of things I've put in place that now make me really win a lot of time that I would probably be delegating to an assistant otherwise. I've used it to create proposals for my clients. I use it, as you said, you know, note takers. I record every single conversation I have with clients or prospects, and then I'll download it into Chat GPT. And depending what I want, whether it's writing me a proposal based on this template, or analyze the call, what could I have done better to get feedback, to improve my pitch on my call. Yeah, there's so many things you can use. You can use that normally you would have asked somebody else to do. But it's done so quickly. I mean, if I have a meeting with a client and we do we do stickers on the wall or things like that, I'll take a picture and then I just download the picture and I say extract it all. I don't have to go in and rewrite it. It's all these little things that makes me really save time. And then there's the whole business side, which as a solopreneur, I really miss having a team. I loved leading teams. I really enjoyed the brainstorming, the working with groups of people. And having no one to bounce things off is really hard. And now I started doing it with ChatGPT, and it's great for brainstorming, for strategies, creating strategies. I've done my PR strategy, I've done my marketing strategy on it. I analyze data. I've been using it for so many different things. Recently, I interviewed a whole 15 people in a company. I then downloaded all the notes It was a 360 on one of the leaders. I downloaded all the notes and I said, okay, analyze, what are the current trends? What are the things that come up? It did that in a few seconds, like the 15. Just taking the notes and actually writing that report would have taken me a week. And it did it in a few seconds. And then I was like, I just had to go in and say, I think you're forgetting this or that. And that's the thing about it. I think it's a great tool, but it can't replace you. I mean, I wouldn't use it for something I don't know what I'm asked. If I wouldn't use it for something I don't understand or I'm not competent about, so I wouldn't go and ask it to do like a market analyze of the trade market, of the financial markets, because I wouldn't understand. You could give me any answer, I wouldn't be able to make sure it's right. But for things that I understand in my business that I can do this, it's just a time saver, and then I just need to make it look good, make it, make sure I have everything in there that I want to, and it's an incredible tool. It's just amazing. I'm every day I'm discovering new things I can do with it, and it's just mind blowing.
It's incredible. I think you've given us, that is such, I was thinking this is absolute gold as you were talking. There's about 30 different use cases in there, and there's so many things.
Before this call, I started writing down. I have so many things. I was like, I couldn't even remember everything. But yeah, it's amazing.
It really is incredible. It's bonkers that people aren't using it.
Yeah.
I think the main blocker is that people don't realize what it can do. And this is why I was doing this. I wanted to record this podcast so people go, oh, I didn't realize it could do that. But there's a couple of things I wanted to pull up actually. So one of the things you mentioned, that prompts take time to write, I think that is another thing that people, from my experience of training people, they think they open Chat GPT, they type something in quickly and they get a quick response. But that's not how it works, is it?
No, and
Right.
I've created a prompt bank in Notion where I have, and it's becoming a monster, frankly. But every time I create like a prompt for something specific, I'll save it and then I'll try and templatize it to be able to reuse it in the future, because the time I'm spending doing that, and then, well, typically for that client, when I was doing this 360, I spend maybe 30 minutes to an hour writing that prompt to get the result I wanted, saying, making sure I was telling it everything I wanted to look for. And, so, but I think it's time really well invested, because I do this once and then I can use it for all my next clients. And yeah, I think that's where you should be spending the time to win the time. It's a long-term investment.
Absolutely. And I think, the more you've got a sort of a machine then that you can call back on at any point and you can get those amazing results. I think another thing you said that is also really, really important. I mean, you said so many brilliant things then, but one of the main things that stuck out as well is that the need for human, not giving it something that so you need to be able to describe what good looks like, and then you need to recognize it the other side.
Yeah.
So when people say, oh, I'm worried about AI coming to replace me, I think if you are working with someone, say if it's your manager, if they don't understand what AI can do, then that's the only way that it would go wrong, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You can't possibly. I met somebody who said, oh, I don't need copywriters anymore. I've got AI. And I thought, oh, good luck with that, because you're going to end up with a load of generic copy because you can't prompt it properly. You won't know whether it's any good, and you'll just watch it flop because it won't be fit for purpose. It won't engage people. It won't be good enough to attract traffic or maintain it when they're there. There'd be no point to it. It'd just be filler, like lorem ipsum text. Yeah, so I think, thank you for that. That was really, really good. I think for our listeners who are solopreneurs, like us, small business owners, what advice would you give them about incorporating it into their daily operations? How do you reckon people should start? Because I think that's the scary thing, isn't it? How to start?
Yeah, I think it's about starting, actually, and it's about trying new things, and you're constantly refining it. It's never finished, right? So for me, I've been experimenting a little bit. I know I've blocked myself an hour a week in my calendar to learn about AI, and usually it's with you. It's I look at your online or your newsletter or something. But I want to make sure I'm learning, because I know it's evolving and changing, and I realize that it's really going to help me. And I speak to so many of my clients in corporate. They're like, yeah, I heard about Chat GPT. And I'm like, you're not using it? And or my clients that are looking for jobs, and I was like, you can use it to write your CV, you can use it to improve your CV, you can use it to write you download job descriptions that you're interested in, and you extract the important points that you need to put in your letter. It can write the letter for you. I mean, there's so many things you can do, and people are not using it. So for me, my advice is just start using it, and it can be one thing, or like whatever you find might be useful to you. But there's so many tools. I mean, I started listing them before this call, and I realized I'm using, like, on an almost daily basis, 1, 2, 3, 4, like maybe 10 different AI tools to help me. And still, I know I'm not using it as much as I could. I mean, like Zapier, I'd like to really learn more about that, because I know I can automate a lot of things, but you need to pick your battles. so I have a list of things, but I think it's about, giving it a shot, trying things. And I think Chat GPT is a great place to start, because actually it's free. You can do a lot of it with the free version already. And it's a great way of tipping your toes into it. And it's, I think, the most versatile, that you can do the most things with. The others are very, the note takers. I mean, more and more people are using note takers when they see me coming on calls, and they're like, what's that? And I explain, and they're like, oh my God, I need that. Note takers, Calendly, if you're an entrepreneur, definitely having the e-signature for your contracts, all these little things that just make your life easier. Grammarly, Hemingway, all these. It's just, it's little tools, but yeah, I think that's the thing. It's tools. It can't be, it's not a replacement for the work you're supposed to be doing, but it's definitely a way of, helping you be quicker, more efficient, more professional also, because I think it does bring a level of professionalism. And so I encourage anybody who's not using it to start using it.
And it becomes such a pleasure as well. So I've got a whole weekend this weekend of planning a boot camp, and it's like 4 times 2 hours. And I feel like it would be so much harder. I'll be using Claude as a soundboard. I'm going to write down, I've just scribbled down all my ideas, and I know that I'll flesh that out in a fifth, a sixth of the time that it would do normally. And there'll be lots of back and forth, and me going, does this adhere? I hear the pain points of the people that I'm doing this for. Is this, and it's going to be better and better and stronger than I could ever do on my own, even though the ideas are all my own still. So it's not outsourcing the creativity and the thought, is it? I think people that try to do that, like you mentioned earlier about that you'll add in pain points, you'll add in notes from client meetings. That data is so important, that you're adding in original information that will replicate real problems, real experience, real opinions, real expertise. If you leave that to ChatGPT or whatever you're using, that's where things start to go wrong, because it can only spit out generic stuff because it doesn't have any experience. I think that's really important too, that, the bad data in equals, bad data out, doesn't it? That's super important.
Yeah, and you really need to check what it's giving you, because I mean, it forgets things, it hallucinates things, it will give you quotes that don't exist, it will give you references. It's about, you really need to check everything, and that's why I'm saying, it should be like a resource to help you. It shouldn't be doing the job for you. I say that's the difference.
Yeah, I think people, when they hear about things like hallucination, so that is the name for when people, when it makes stuff up, I think that can put a lot of people off, and they go, oh, well, if it's gonna, what would you say to people that go, oh, I'm not going to bother because it'll make stuff up? Why would I bother with this sort of thing? How would you respond to that?
You should be able to recognize it when it makes stuff up, because if you're using it for, or first of all, or you should double check. I mean, it's very simple to go and check when it's telling you this quote by this person or this research. You go and ask. I asked him, I said, what are your sources? And he was like, oh, actually, I don't really have a source. And I was like, so you're making it up even though I told you not to, Yeah. So I think it's about being attentive and, to detail, and just making sure that you know what you're talking about. You're not, I mean, I don't go out and ask it to do stuff that I wouldn't be able to talk about myself. And so therefore I can make sure that what I'm asking it to do is, it's like if I had an assistant and I was asking him to do something I didn't understand, I wouldn't be able to check their work. This is the same. It's exactly the same thing, right?
I love that. Yeah, it's a really, really good analogy. And you wouldn't be able to give them a good brief either.
Yeah,
And that's
exactly.
what a good prompt is too.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So looking ahead, how do you see AI shaping the future of, my original question was executive coaching, but I think, how do you see it shaping the future for small businesses? Because I think that's where we are in this conversation. How do you think, what changes do you think there'll be for people like us running businesses in the next couple of years? How do you think it's going to evolve?
I think it's going to give us more capacity. It's definitely it's a money saver to start with. It's giving us opportunities to do things that we couldn't before as a single person. So it's giving us more capacity to deliver. It's giving us we can afford to provide a service that we couldn't before because it was probably we had to outsource it and it was very expensive. So I think it's definitely going to. I mean, I feel like there's more and more small businesses creating themselves, and I see it just with my own clients who are a lot of them in the corporate world wanting to go off and do their own business. So there is a change in the market, in the job market, definitely, where people are losing confidence in big companies and decide, I'm not going to be dependent on a COVID or a corporate company to make sure my future is assured. I need to have my own thing. So more and more people are probably going to start their own businesses, and they're going to become more and more savvy in these tools. And the better you get at it, the more successful, the more chances you are of success, I'd say.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that, yeah, the ability to grow to whole new revenue levels without hiring is so exciting. So exciting. I think it's just wonderful. Thank you so much, Maria. That was amazing. The time has just flown by. I could speak to you for hours. Hopefully you'll come back and we can continue this conversation, because I'd like to speak about coaches and executives too as well. Thank you so, so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I think that's going to inspire an awful lot of people, just like you and I, who are running businesses, a one-woman band, a one-man band, and yeah, who have aspirations to grow. And there's now entirely new ways to do it. So thank you so much for your time, and hopefully we'll speak again soon.
Well, thank you, because you're the one who's really taught me everything I know about AI. So I've been following you from the beginning. The minute you started your membership, I was like, I'm in, because I need you. You're speaking the same language as me, and I'm not a techie, but I see the advantage, and I could see that this was a good thing. So thank you very much, because it's not just me. I'm spreading this to my clients, so you're helping a lot of people with what you're doing.
Thank you very much. That's lovely. Thank you.